right. I think we're live. Yeah, we're live. We're back.
We're back.
That Celsius is hitting hard today.
Is that a normal thing on a, is it a Friday Celsius? Is it like to finish the week?
It's it's usually after lunch. I never drink caffeine before. Usually it's like the after lunch thing.
Okay.
If I'm going to drink it.
And
but this is the second week in a row I've had it before the podcast, and I can literally feel it running through my veins.
Yeah, the last podcast was good. So you know what? Maybe it's got to be a podcast drink there.
It has to be. Hang on, where we at?
Yep. See, look at that.
There, yeah, brought to you by
Celsius.
Yeah, I wish. Somebody is sponsored by Celsius. It's the
retailer?
No, like somebody like really famous. And he does a podcast. Guy, he's so funny. It's the Chris. Do you remember the guy that's just goofy as hell? And he comes. Anyways, it don't matter. He does a podcast. He's hilarious.
We're off the rails. 1 minute in, off the rails.
Yeah, we're Celsius, bring us back. Anyways, all right. So yeah, it's Friday. We have a podcast going. We have a big announcement today.
Yeah.
Did you check your text, Nick? I texted you a question.
I got you covered there.
Thank you. We got our big announcement. You want to go for it first, Nick?
No, I gotta let you break it. I gotta let you break it there.
Awesome. Hey, man. So big announcement. Well, we have a couple of them today. But the first one is the announcement of a show rebranding. We have been doing play-by-play for 3 years, I think, or at least over 2 years. And, you know, we have seen a lot of changes over the years, and it has definitely evolved. What we want to do is to bring you the same show or a better show with its own brand, with its own kind of its own entity, right? And it's going to be focused on detailing business, similar to the way we do it now, but we're going to make it in series so you can follow along, and it's going to be extremely informative, not to be confused with boring. We're going to keep it fresh, but very informative. You'll be able to take information off of this and apply it straight to your detailing business that you're currently running.
Yeah, and I think the really cool part is again having play-by-play under Detail Bookie versus having our new show, which I'm not going to spoil the name just yet. I'll let you break that as well. It's going to let us sort of try and grow it as its own entity, which I think will be a really cool experience that we're going to go through right with the people that have been with us for a really long time. Absolutely. And then again, let's say someone wants to start up a podcast of their own. You know what I mean? They're going to see what it's like going from, hey, 0 to 100.
Yeah.
And I think that'll be real valuable to people as well.
Let me tell you a little bit about podcasts. And, everybody thinks you just put a podcast together and you immediately have listeners. And that couldn't be any further from the truth. It is a long game, and you have to be committed. And it is, doing it weekly, which we've done for years. You got to keep fresh content. You got to build the following. You got to be there. You got to be consistent. And it's tough, right? It's tough to have content. We have a team. I mean, we have Chris, we have Madison, we have Brooke, and we had Abby and Nick and myself, and we meet once a week. What are we going to
We're just those crazy talking heads that people see. But yeah, the people behind the scenes, that's what makes it roll.
There's a lot of moving parts, and it's exciting. But so in saying that, so we built this thing up, and we're super proud of our supporters, and we know that it's just going to translate right over into the new one, because you're not going to notice a whole lot of change. We may change the setup a little bit, and we cannot see. We're going to change my setup a little bit. I think Nick's probably going to say the same. We want to be more casual on this end. Okay. And looking forward to that. But it's going to be business. And then we're also going to bring back some guests into the show as a piece of our series. So it's going to be exciting change coming up, and we're starting next week. Right?
Yeah, we're going to start next week. We got a really cool series planned. Yeah. And what that series is going to be is literally starting a detail business in 2023. So we're going to open up, in parentheses, a detail business. Me and Dustin, we're going to find a spot. We're going to go over the numbers of the rent. We're going to be on LoopNet. This is going to be our business and our baby. We'll build a little mock website. We're going to build all these little things all the way up until day one of opening. So you guys can sort of get inside of our head, whether maybe you're going from mobile to shop, You know what I mean? Maybe you guys already have a shop and you're like, man, I want to add another location. What are these two goofballs usually doing before they open up a store?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I think that's going to give a really cool, perspective to a lot of people. And I'm real excited about it.
Yeah, you know what I think about is like if you had the opportunity to go back and open your business again, what's the first thing you would do? Right?
Yeah.
That's what this series is going to be. So if you're sitting there and you say, "Man, I already have a business. I don't need to see you guys open up some business. Like I know how to get a business license." Right? It's not that. It's if I could go back and reopen Easy In, what are the things I would do different? And the value of that is that you can take this information and say, "Oh shit, you know what? I never did go get that EIN number," or you know what, man, like I need to get this part done in my business. So watching us go from nothing to something, you still, even if you have an existing business, and most of you, probably 99% of our listeners do.
Yeah.
But 99% of our listeners probably have this thing that they didn't do either a part of it, including Easy In, including Splash, that when we go through this and we dig deep on it, we say, "Oh man,
I would have done that so differently." You know what I mean? And again, would save time, would save dollars.
Right.
And that's all we want to provide for people.
Yep, that's it, man. And it's exciting. Business gets me excited. I love business. And I think that to start this thing off, I mean, we're building the podcast again. So it's going down the same path. And so building the business beside of that is awesome. So you'll see, like I said, minimal change. I mean, we're going to share the podcast into the group, into Detail Bookie page, or onto Detail Bookie page. So you'll find it same places, the same place that you've already listened to it. I'm so glad you did this, guys. We want you to join today's too. So if you've been a listener over the years, if you want to jump in for a couple minutes and talk about some of the things that you've, seen, heard, maybe ideas going forward, we're going to let you guys jump into the show.
Some grilling questions for you. We're going to be grilling you quick.
Don't come in here.
Really sort of today's show's for the people, right? Today's show's for everyone that's listened a long time as we transition. And,
it's exciting, man. I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to a fresh look. It's fun for me. And you don't realize, it's hard to realize the impact that you've had by doing these things over and over. But when I do a demo with somebody, or if I'm at a show and someone walks up to me and says, like, "Man, I listened to this show that you did," or "I heard you say this on your podcast," or never feels like when I get on a Zoom, "I've listened to a couple of your podcasts, man. I did this thing and it changed my life, or it changed my business." That's what it's all about. And we want to double down on that stuff. You know what I mean? And I think that this gives us the opportunity for that.
And again, what's a really cool, opportunity is with Detail Bookie sort of going to be that main sponsor. It's all ties in together. You know what I mean? Detail Bookie is one of the best softwares out there for young detailers. And it's going to give them, hey, you're not just getting a software, you're also getting support team. You know what I mean? You're getting content to help build your business. You're having a place to ask questions. And that's just, you don't get that anywhere else, which I think is really cool.
No, we won't, I think that when you, with our software, you get more than just software. You get a team behind you, and you get us, and myself behind you. And that's what makes it worthwhile for me. Like, to be able to help people out. And I love business and I love detailing. And so it just so happens that we get to do it all every day, and we get to help people and change their lives. Yeah. There's other good softwares out there, and they do a really good job. What we feel like that helps us is our experience in the detailing business, and the fact that we have a detail shop right here beside our office, where we're facing those same real world problems, and we're putting those solutions into the software. That's where we feel like, makes a difference. So the podcast, obviously will be connected to that. And so it's exciting.
I think the key word there is connected and not under it. You see what I'm saying? It's like now the podcast is going to be there. It's
in addition to, and not in the shadow of.
Yeah, because it's almost like that podcast hits a ceiling, right? And now we're going to be able to really let it go and bust through that ceiling, and that's what we're really excited about.
Maybe we'll get to 6 listeners.
You know what? If we can get to 7, we're
just knocking them dead. Looks like we have a comment coming up. All right, the new series is going to change the way a lot of people are doing business. No one is offering this great idea. Excited to see where it goes. Billy Smith, thank you, brother. Yeah, and that's what we're thinking. And listen, we are not claiming to know it all. What we know is we've learned from experience, and we want this show. We want feedback. Say, why do you guys do this, or did you think about that? Like that's what makes great content, right? It's not because we said it, or we think we know. No, it's we have experience in that thing. We failed a lot. We both have different ways that we approach things, so you're going to see a lot of that. We definitely go at things
what'll be
differently.
Cool in the new series is like, hey, look, we're trying to go find a property, right? You're going to find a property. I'm going to find a property, and we're going to be pinned at each other. And hey, look, this is going to give you a little taste of how do you deal with partners, right? Maybe you got two people going into business. How are you going to make that decision? Well, you see what I'm saying? So I think it's going to be a really cool dynamic that hasn't been on the show before.
Oh, absolutely will. Absolutely will. And it gives us a chance to deep dive on some things. I don't want to get boring, but I want to dig deep. I want to dig deep enough where if you're considering partnering up with somebody, or maybe you have a partner and we run into a roadblock together, or we run into a disagreement, how do we handle that? Yeah. How do we discuss that? And then you take that and you translate that into your own world or into your own business, or you say, I don't want a partner because I don't want to have to answer to that, And so that's really cool. That is what's coming up. Guys, if you want to join in, feel free to. We have the link in the comments, I believe, and Chris will let you in. Is there anybody in the waiting room or not? Okay, nobody's on there yet. So we do have a couple of things we want to talk. Yeah, don't be shy. Right. Yeah.
I think we're 10 minutes in.
Ready to team up and expand to the Tampa Marine scene. Let's go. Let's go. I'm ready.
In our pretend business there, maybe we look into the Tampa scene there. Find a little. It. You never know. If someone wants to see what it would be like if someone was open up across the street from them.
We didn't think this through. Hang on. What is the temperature in Tampa, Florida right now? What's the humidity level and the temperature?
Yeah.
We'll let you know when we get that result back. It looks like Chris is going to find that for us. Probably. We're going to Billy Smith's shop in Akron, Ohio. It got to have less humidity in Akron.
It's hot up here too in Chicago.
Is it? Well, we got Chris.
What's the name of the new podcast there?
Oh, we're going to drop it like that.
Yeah.
Name of the new show.
Drum roll.
Polishing Profits. A detailer's podcast.
Look at that with the voice there. I think that's the intro. I think that's the intro right there.
Polishing Profits. We think about like the whole reason for business is to make money. And by the way, my truest of true feelings, like what my instinct is I don't do business to make money. I really don't. And this is not cliche. Yeah. I don't care. Like my checking account means nothing to me. If my bills are paid and I can go to lunch today, I'm a happy camper. If my boat can have gas in it and I can go cruise, I'm a happy camper. I do business to literally help people. And that's what makes me happy. That's what gives me chills, not to look in the checking account and know there's $1,000 there. It's to have a conversation with people. However, business is about making money and polishing profits, right? Like refining the profit, refining how to get to that point is what we should all be doing, because inevitably this is how we make money to survive. Yeah. So that's the essence of the name.
Plus, it just sounds cool.
Yeah, it sounds really cool.
We'll have the logo. That. We got some cool stuff. Now, again, getting to that name, right? It's like a back and forth, trying to figure out, I'm real excited about it. I think it's a great name.
Oh, I do too. I think it's going to be fun. Super, super excited. We hope we must have a good comment coming up. BRB registering that trademark. Yeah, Chris, good luck on the domain, bitch. Polishing. We were never mind. I'm not even gonna say it. Chris, we were actually thinking your face as our logo would be great if you don't mind. We just need a up close.
Just a close up of just
join the show, Chris. If you're sitting there watching, dude, join the show. Jump in here. I want to talk to you about it. First thing I'm doing is not hiring him for my website because he won't join.
Oh my God.
We were just talking about that. I said I can't share my website, and I know it's gonna get him right now because I don't have one yet, Chris. I'm waiting on you. Watch what happens. That'll get him to join.
Chris goes and tells me I don't do car washes. So you know
what? Oh, is that what he told you?
It hurts my feelings. So
Oh man, that's great.
That's
great. He's a good dude.
Oh,
he's
awesome
a good
guy.
dude. Yeah.
Awesome guy. You know, and again, if you need a detailing website, there's nowhere else to go.
Oh, no question. Coming in hot. Yeah.
That means
Come on.
he's got free time on the Friday at 11.
Yeah. What are you doing, Chris? You need to be launching my website, not coming into this podcast. I know. The first thing he's gonna say is, "Dude, you gotta prove it."
Yeah.
It's gonna be good. He
While
came
we
out.
wait for
They
him
got a new podcast. His company and
Yeah.
And all those guys have a
You
great.
know I'm jumping in. Easy to listen. I think they're on Spotify. That's my favorite. Now, I was going to ask you, what's your favorite way of consuming some of the detailed content? It's not necessarily a podcast, you know, and
Yeah.
asking the viewers we've got a pretty cool marketing plan of how we're going to distribute it.
Yeah.
But what are your thoughts on that?
Only time I listen to them is when I'm training, like a long bike ride, a long run. So it's either Spotify, some things I found on YouTube.
Okay.
And also that's when I'm doing it. I mean, outside of that, I don't sit around and listen to a lot of podcasts. Because of time, you know, and so when I'm on a long bike ride, I'll usually put one on. I don't listen to like 4 or 5, you know, in a row. I listen to one and then, you know, I'm on to the next thing. Tell you what,
very loyal. Just picking one. You got to stick with it.
I don't jump around, man. But, you know, like I see tons of value in them. I think you get a lot of just organic content that's not solicited. I know in our show it's not solicited. I mean, you're just hearing our experience. You know, what's worked, what hasn't, what makes me want to pull my hair out, what doesn't.
Yeah.
All right, she got our goober in the waiting room. Let him join. Come on in here. Are you drinking Celsius?
No.
What is that? Is that a beer?
Aspire?
Oh,
they have them at
Aspire.
Costco and Sam's.
Costco's the place to be, man. I keep telling you.
Costco. I'm a Sam's guy.
Really? Okay.
Yeah,
Okay,
Sam's.
I respect it.
Sam's. Yeah, you know, I don't know. They got the scan and go. Maybe Costco does too. Do they have scan and go?
Yeah.
No. Do they?
They do.
Up by here.
I'm a scan and go kind of guy. You scan it, put it in the buggy. You don't have to go through the line. Like I'm in and out. Bam, done. That's where I get my turtle wax.
Wax on, wax off.
What are you doing, Chris?
I got a meeting in 12 minutes, so I'm just trying to power out some protein and Aspire and
just some energy and go show them what's up.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so we're doing a little rebranding of the show. Just bringing some life back into it. Gonna get it out from under the Detail Bookie kind of umbrella, bring it out on its own. Similar show, similar content kind of thing. Series, more of a series-based thing. What you think?
I think it's great. I was listening in. I think it's awesome. I think a lot of people need less of what products to use and more of how to operate a business and maybe like the struggles. Like I think you guys are talking about buying a building or something like that. Like I don't think most people have any idea of hiring or business or how to price out stuff. And you know me, that's my jam. I love talking about that stuff.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, that's same here. Same here.
And again, all that stuff is then archived, right? So those series are then on YouTube, and you're going to have people, you know, being able to go back and searching that stuff and viewing that and gaining that information. And I think that's where that value comes in for a lot of people long term.
Yeah. You know, my thought is like, you know, no matter where you are in your business journey, as we start this first series of building a new business, you should be able to take little things like if I could go back and open up Easy and again, like what are the things I would do different, right? Well, you can still do those things. Like you can go back and you know, work on your business, and that's so these things you should be able to take little nuggets here and there that apply, and then go put them into action. I think that's the whole goal.
So you're gonna
I was gonna say,
you're gonna pick someone through that story, then that whole process.
You said pick someone.
Yeah, it's gonna be you, I'm assuming.
So we're gonna pick. Like, we're building a new business. Like we're gonna build, quote unquote, like this new fake business, right? And what's the first thing we do? What are some of the roadblocks we run into? What are the things that we're looking for? And we're gonna like we're
gonna just go step by step as if we take these actions. You know, talking to the city. What are the things that they need? What are the setbacks if you're doing construction? Hey, are we just jumping in and buying versus renting?
Are we leasing? Right.
Yeah, and me and Dustin are just gonna go toe to toe on our thoughts on each side of it. And some things we'll agree on, some things we won't. But I think it'll make.
Yeah, and one thing to always know is I will absolutely always be right. So like as long as we get that clear,
Yeah,
at the end
so
of the day,
if you've got a partner, right,
Yeah.
that is just always right, it might be best to just kick them off the boat now.
it sounds weird. It sounds weird, but it's just the case.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't wait till you guys disagree with each other. That'll be probably be the best episode right there.
It's okay it's okay to be wrong.
Not for me. Not
for me.
We're going to end up with homework, right? And I'm not going to tell him what I did, and he's not going to tell me what we did until we go live on the show.
Again, this show sounds like work.
You know what? If it's not work, it's not gonna be genuine there.
You know what, Chris? You know what's going through Chris's mind right now? If he, like getting Dustin to do homework is impossible.
Mm-hmm. Hey, if you're not prepped and ready for that first meeting at the village, I'm gonna walk all over you.
Oh no.
I was thinking in my head, I'm like, maybe I should just share Dustin's new site, see if we could just get approval right here on the spot.
That's not a bad idea.
Awesome show.
Maybe I'm sharing screen. If I gotta,
let's go.
Do we have to get approval right now, Dustin? What do you think of this? It says automotive and it says airplane. Should it be aviation? I gotta fucking bolt his nuts down to the floor.
Yeah,
I think you just make it a submarine. Just make it he only details submarines there.
Yeah. Oh man, no, I'm excited about it. Chris, how's y'all's podcast going?
Good, man. Yeah, I would say exactly what you guys just said is like, I just didn't want to do a podcast about like products, and I wanted to do a podcast about talking about problems and how to solve. And so yeah, it's been going good. We're doing a new one coming out, a new section of it, which is like, I took it from Gary Vee and Alex Hermosi, so don't think it's original by any stretch. But we're doing like a round table with Barry Thiel, Grant Menard. We would love to have probably one of you guys on for special, and we're gonna take 3 guys that are going through problems and spread it over 6 months, and it's gonna be an hour podcast every month for 6 months.
Yeah,
and say, well, I can't fucking hire this people, and then he's gonna podcast with these 3 guys and say, hey, this is how you hire. This is what you look for. This is what you do. And then next month, it's like going to be an accountability thing. Did you do it?
That's right.
Hold them to fire.
It's fantastic. It's fantastic. I love it. Yep. If you guys need help, happy to jump in. As needed, well. Just say the word. Awesome, brother. Appreciate you jumping in. I will get that website approved.
I'm excited to see Dustin's website.
Why don't you just launch it? Just launch it. You don't need my approval. If you approve it, I approve it.
Based on the last comment round, I ain't launching shit.
Oh, man.
Did Mike Carlin go through all this? Did he have to, or did you just launch his?
Mike was like the first customer. So Mike
was he like, what's a website? I don't even know what a website is.
Mike might have done like, is the phone number correct? And I'm like, yes. He's like, launch the bitch.
That's where I'm at. Okay, that's
how hard is Dustin as a customer there?
From a legal perspective, we usually just want that like last bit of looks good.
Yeah. There's the formality to it.
All right, I'll let you guys go. We'll talk to you,
brother.
Appreciate you jumping in, Chris.
Awesome, man. Chris is awesome. And guys, if you need a website, seriously, I mean, Detailers Roadmap is phenomenal. They knock it out. I mean, I have slowed them down. And look, we have so much going on. It's nobody's fault. We have so much going on with everything, and I'm here. I am making excuses, guys. Make the thing. Do that thing.
Come on,
Nick. I need you over here.
All
right, I'm motivated. All right, we have a comment. Let's drop it in here. All right, take one thing that comes to mind when teaching about business is thinking about different revenue streams. For someone that has rough winters, detailing is always the largest revenue stream. Isn't. There's so many ways out there to make money, and no, not what you're thinking, Dustin. That's scary. What am I thinking?
Well, we don't have to go down that road.
No, let's stay out of that. No, you're right, Tayton. You're right. And so let's talk about those different revenue streams. I mean, just easy in.
Well, let's talk about how could you make that a series, right? In the new podcast, what is it just a thing of other revenue streams inside the detail business and us going through and saying what we've done or different things that are opportunities out there, and that could be an individual show on itself or multiple shows.
Then what things coincide but not detail related, but the customer is in that same realm. So you have a customer here for detail. what other service could I sell them? What other product could I sell them? Not chemicals, but what other thing would they buy? Our customer here at EZN is, upper, middle to upper class and income, not, their income level, right? So we have a retail store that sells middle to upper income bracket style clothing. I mean, $65 pair of shorts is just not, there's a certain customer that's going to pay that much for them. That's what we are catered to. And so we know that. And that's one of those other revenue streams that we do.
For me, any other revenue stream you're adding to a business has to not A, take away from the primary business, and B, not become an entirely new entity where it takes up my time, right? It's going to hurt me later. So if you're going and adding something, even if it's simple, right? If you're going to go add let's say you got a pickup truck and you're mobile, right? Adding a plow and plowing in the winter if you're up here north. You know what I mean? Well, okay, great. That's not going to affect me come spring.
That's right.
Okay, look, I'm going to go throw some ATMs. You know what I mean? There's a lot of different little revenue streams you can do. I do also think diversifying is something pretty interesting with real estate and saying, hey, look, winters are tough, but I'm going to be, fiscally responsible during spring, summer, fall to say, I'm going to make these different, steps in my life I love what I do in detailing, but I'm going to have these other businesses as well.
Absolutely. And a lot of thought has to be put into there because you're right. You're only one person. And, as you start to spread yourself thin, I heard a great saying and I do not live by this, but it's to do two things at once is to do nothing at all. Okay. And I think that does apply in a lot of cases. So you have to be careful about spreading out. And I love your thought of that is what revenue stream, what thing can I bring in that doesn't require a whole new me to manage? Like what's
only one of you.
Yeah. And that's the reality of it. So love that comment, Tayton. Thank you, brother. That's a good one. And I would assume that that's going to land in as a series at some point of, somehow. So looking forward to it. I do have.
Go ahead. Nope. I was just going to say, again, for the new podcast, it's going to be series based, right? Instead of sort of individual episodes. So trying to think of those bigger umbrella topics and then diving into them in again, it might be 3 episodes. It might be 12 episodes. It might, you know what I mean? And then.
Yes, right. And it allows us to spend time, in a certain realm and you to kind of know what to expect that's coming. So looking forward to that as well. One thing I did want to mention, Detail Bookie users, we are stage 1 in our Carfax integration, and we are going to be able to do some reporting for you guys that's not seamless yet, but we're real close to, or we're getting closer to that. So we're going to be talking about that very soon. But I wanted to get your feedback on Carfax in general, Nick. I know that there's a lot of detailers out there that love that want to report to Carfax, that see the value, that do it. And by the way, we are probably next week we're going to open up beta testing for that. But Nick, what's your thoughts on Carfax?
My biggest thing is, are the customers asking for it? You know what I mean? That's my number one thing is, if the customers are asking for it in your local area, absolutely take advantage of it.
Sure.
In my area or my customers, it's not necessarily something they're asking for. So because of that, it becomes
it's another thing for you to do.
Well, not necessarily that. You're having that conversation with the customer, and now you're going to have to spend 3 to 5 minutes explaining the Carfax to them, where they're like, wait, what is that? Why do I need? Okay.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's just an extra added layer.
It adds to sales. Yep.
That again, now does that move the conversion rate from, again, 10% to 12%? If you go do a Google ad, right?
Yeah.
You're going to put splash ceramic coating, and then under it as the next keyword, Carfax report, reported. Is that going to be something that moves the needle? It might. I don't really believe so, just based on my, interactions with customers where they're not asking for it. I can add it. You know what I mean? It's almost like adding another service of, you have a 10-year coating or a 4-year coating and then having a 5-year coating. Well, now you're going to go spend time selling a 4 and a 5 and telling them the difference. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Does it really move the needle there? And that's my, go ahead.
So all right. So I lean towards your your theory on that and opinion. My shop in particular, we've never reported anything to Carfax. However, I believe I have a really good understanding of why detailers want to. Okay. And I'll share the thing that I feel like I'll share my thoughts on why I think they want to. And we're going to build that to suit, right? I think that detailers are always looking to figure out how to show value of the services they're performing. I think they're looking for concrete evidence to say, customer, I did this, and this is how it adds value to, this is how you justify this expense of this. I think Carfax is one of those things that allows them to say, this is concrete, not subjective. This is a thing that I do for you for the money that I'm charging. And Carfax is visual. It's black and white. I did this thing for you. It should add value to your vehicle. And therefore, this is how I justify some of the costs that I charge, or some of the, the cost.
Yeah. If you're there and you're talking with a customer, again, we're talking ceramic coatings here.
Yeah.
You're putting that in your pitch deck. You're putting that in, hey, your sales pitch. And it's just a matter of, okay, if you're there in the sales pitch without Carfax, right?
Yeah.
Is it going to make it that big of a difference? I don't know. It might. It absolutely might. And that's where I'm could be absolutely wrong. But
I think it has. I think it has, because the demand for it has been huge.
Yeah.
The demand for it has been huge. We've had a lot of people. We've had people, and I'm just going to admit it, we've had people leave us for other softwares here and there.
Yeah.
Specifically for Carfax.
Wow.
And that's like, that's a tough pill to swallow.
Yeah.
And because I've thought of here I am, I run a very large detailing operation, very large. I think that we classify as probably top 10% detail operations. And we've built the software to try to solve the problems that we faced, and Carfax didn't seem like one of them. And I don't want this to come across as I didn't believe in it, because I know that there's a ton of detailers, trust me, that use it every day to run their, that's part of their sales process, and they have to have it. And I'm not downplaying that, and that's why we have a solution for it coming up.
But again, and I'm going to just go to the point where whenever I'm making a sales pitch, now it's different because we've got, let's say, 200 people walking in the door versus a specific hot lead that's already considered ceramic, right? So when I get that question of like, oh, hey, what's up with the ceramic, or, can you tell me about it? Or, hey, I'm interested in doing it. Keeping it, again, my point is keeping it super short and sweet. It does this, a maintenance plan. We got this, that, and another, right? 4 bullet points. If it worth adding a fifth, you know what I mean? So I don't go and say, hey, I got this piece of paper that we went and, to expel, and we did their training. Like, there's certain things I don't talk about, silicon dioxide. Like, I don't jump into certain parts of ceramic, right? Because it just doesn't necessarily going to have a broad appeal to every customer. And that maybe is wrong, but
no, I think there's a very few that really want the the technical side, and those really that are very specific. Most of them just want to know, is it shiny? Is it protected? Is it going to be better than the other thing I bought?
What's the price?
Yeah, right. Exactly.
What does it cost? And and as soon as you say cost, is it going to create value in their head? And if it does, great. They're going to keep asking questions. And at that point, you're going to sell them something. And if they're like, great, thank you so much, I'm going to think about it, they're going to move on. And that's okay too.
Quickly, I want to give one other side. This is a good friend of mine, Mike Carlin. This is his thoughts on it, and I don't think he'll mind that I air them publicly.
He's not even here to defend himself.
Yeah, you know what? Let's put Mike on the
Mike, here's the bus. Let me just toss you under it. Go ahead.
Mike, the bus is coming through. You're under it. His thoughts are, the reason he don't submit to Carfax is because what happens when you submit a coating that you did on a car, that customer leaves, never comes back, sells the car 3 years later. New buyer checks the Carfax on the car. They see, I'm not going to name his detailing shop. I don't know if he wants me to. Screw it. Fast Lane Detailing.
ABC Detailing.
Yeah, Fast Lane Detailing. This is a detail shop. We'll give him a plug. Did this coating 3 years ago, but the customer never maintained it. Therefore, the coating doesn't look that great.
Yeah.
Okay. And then new buyer never reaches out to Fast Lane to ask anything about it. They just assume that this coating just did not hold up or didn't do its thing. there's a problem there. Okay. Now, I'm not saying that's everything. You Nick, we've talked about it before, and you said, well, what about dealerships that throw their junk coating on every week, and then people come back religiously and pay for it again?
Yeah, but at the same time, it's not necessarily like they're a lot of times the dealer's throwing it on there whether they want to or not, but it's not creating that bond or that negative experience long term, because they're like, okay, hey, their main purchase is the vehicle.
That's right.
So the add-on service is not something that,
whether you buy that or not, that doesn't make or break them. They're looking to sell a new vehicle. That's just an addition to ceramic coatings are make or break for a lot of companies. And if that negative connotation comes out, like, does that cost you a sale later on down the road because this customer bought a car that was Carfax, certified, or the ceramic coating was registered through Carfax, and now it looks terrible or doesn't do the things that they thought it would do? Does that hurt us long term? And I know this piece of the show has seemed like we're trying to defend not updating the Carfax, and we're not doing that. I'm just saying that there's things that should be thought about as we build this new feature out. There's things that should be thought about, and this is one of the reasons why we've taken our time on it.
The one thing that's interesting is, again, on the flip side, when that customer is selling the car, right? Maybe it's not necessarily an exact value at the time of sale, but if you want to go and create value for the Carfax conversation, saying, hey, look, when you decide if you want to sell this car, we report your ceramic to Carfax, right? That's where I would see the value unlocked for a lot of people, is saying, hey, guess what? Now you're going to get more for your car later because it's been protected, and you're going to be able to actually show it to them when you're selling. That would be my way of sort of communicating to the customer versus just saying, hey, it's on Carfax.
Love it. Got a comment? Billy Smith, customers are more aware how Carfax services reported are adding value to their trade, is what we are seeing. Okay, customers are more aware how Carfax services reported are adding value. So his saying, like, they're aware.
Back end.
Like, there's the value. So I agree. And I think that this is something that we're seeing. This is something that we have built in, that we're building into into the software. We have a solution, and Billy, I think Christine's probably either already reached out to you or is going to reach out to you about testing this other little, this thing that we're doing. But I just wanted to bring up the topic and hear Nick's thoughts on it, and hear your guys' thoughts on it about how you see it. So thanks, Billy. Thank you for your opinion on it. And I think that that's an opinion of a lot of detailers out there. They're saying, hey, my customers see the value. They're seeing return on this thing being a part of the Carfax. So makes sense.
Yeah. Only other thing I think would be a really cool series that I know we're just past our time, a lot of time here, is connecting to those detail bookie MVPs, give them a little bit of a spotlight on here. Maybe doing a one detail MVP a week, 5 minutes of having them jump in and tell them a little bit about their business, right? It's going to get different. You're going to hear about our business all the time, but having that extra, just opinion is, I think, really valuable for people. And these are people at all different stages, doing all different types of, business,
all different levels,
businesses. So that would be the only other really cool series that I think would add a lot of value right off the bat.
Absolutely. I'm here for it. Sounds good, man. Great show. Looking forward to the new revamp. You should see a new little look. It's not going to be like this whole dump on you guys. I think we'll slowly roll it. Hopefully we can get a
Dustin, you got homework. Don't be getting out of homework. I'll see you on Tuesday.
I've got a website to approve. No, all good.
Chris can wait. We got work to do. We're going to give these people a really, really good podcast, and we're going to start with starting a detailing business in 2023.
Starting a detailing business 2023 next week. That's the first episode 1 of Polishing Profits, a Detailer's Podcast. Polishing Profits, a Detailer's Podcast. See you next week.
See you next week, guys.